been consistently in Big Ten volleyball.
Two top programs playing some top program volleyball, and it's going to be on display here tonight, that's for sure.
Kristen Simon, the freshman libero, with the first serve of the night for Wisconsin, and a roll shot from Kenna Woolard, and a Badger caught up in the net, point Purdue.
One of the things that makes Kenna Woolard so difficult to defend is that she mixes up her shots so often. She's not just going to hit the same shot. She might even hit a hard shot, but mix up the depth on that shot. So she's very hard to defend.
Woolard, the junior from Dunlap, Illinois, that's outside Peoria, with the serve. Anderson, and she sets Grace Heaney, the redshirt sophomore, with a big swing to give Purdue a 2-1 lead. So Dave Shondell and the Purdue Boilermakers, many impressive numbers you can point to, but they are unbeaten in road matches this season. Purdue, and you guessed it, Nebraska, who's still undefeated, period, this season. The only two teams in the country to stay perfect on the road. That's McAleer, the libero, with the set and a sharp angle kill from Akasha Anderson, and it's a little quiet inside the field house right now.
Yeah, Purdue coming in heavy with their arm swings right now. I mean, Kenna Woolard mixed in that shot early, but there goes Cash Anderson with that sharp cross-court swing. You don't really put a defender in that spot. Wisconsin might have to make an adjustment here soon.
Una Vajagic, #1 with the swing there for Wisconsin, having a fantastic month of November. And Kenna Woolard plants that one from the back row for Purdue. Here is Kelly Sheffield. His Badgers have been outstanding in the month of November, ever since Nebraska swept Wisconsin here inside the field house on Halloween. The Badgers have been unbeaten in the month of November. Allie Andrew with the swing. It was pulled back by Furbringer at the net. Simon the dig, it's popped up to the pin, and Egan gets it over, but a point for Purdue. As another error by Wisconsin has the Boilers in good position, up 5-1.
That was another example of the Boilermakers mixing up that depth. That was a deep swing by Cash Anderson that looked like it was going to go hard and straight down.
Woolard still serving. Furbringer sets Egan off the block and down, and Egan's got both of the Badgers' kills to start this one out.
It's been Grace Egan early. She's proving that she's the one that's going to get kills. I think we're going to see a ton of Grace Egan now. Now that they're realizing that it's working early, Wisconsin's going to keep going to it. One of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of things.
Egan serving now, another player for the Badgers who missed about a month with a knee injury right at the start of Big Ten play. She's worked her way back into midseason form and is playing fabulous defense for Wisconsin, getting her offense going here early. From the back row, Mimi Collier doing what she does best.
Man, sometimes Mimi Collier hits better out of the back row than she does in the front row. There have been matches where that has been the case. But the thing that is really crucial to this is Charlie Furbringer's set. She does such a strong job at leading that ball in front of the 10-foot line so that Mimi Collier can get on top of it.
During that point, Badgers head coach Kelly Sheffield was about as upset as we've ever seen him over what he thought was a missed call. Badgers prevailed on that point. However, Purdue gets the next one to go up 6-3. He's usually very mild-mannered.
He is. We don't usually see much of an uproar from Coach Sheffield there, but he was pretty adamant about it. I actually think the play that he was talking about was pretty legal. Taylor Anderson is a back row setter and got a touch on that ball, put her hands up as if she were to block it, but I think her hands were below that plane of the net. She really did a good job at breaking her wrists and keeping them flat right there, and the ball went high up and off of them. I thought it was a legal play.
A service error for Purdue a moment ago from Sienna Foster. That's Dior Charles, one of Purdue's middle blockers, heading to the bench. And Vajagic serves it up for Wisconsin. Purdue has battled its fair share of injuries as well, especially at that middle blocker position. But like Wisconsin, they're as healthy as they've ever been all season. And Anderson puts away another one for Purdue.
A ton of pin production here early. Both teams running a ton of pins. Right now it's coming up Purdue outside hitters.
Anderson, the Michigan State transfer, has been fabulous in her final season of eligibility, her only season with Purdue. Great dig by Ryan McAleer. There's Akasha Anderson again, and a dig in the back row by Vajagic. It sets up Collier, who puts it away.
There's a ton of of tempo being run in volleyball right now. Everybody's trying to go really fast pin to pin with some undersized hitters sometimes. Both of these teams know that they have big, strong hitters that can go and hit hard above blocks. So they're not giving anybody any sort of speed. They're giving their outside hitters time, and both Mimi Collier and the outsides for Purdue are hitting over top hard of these blocks.
Wardlow with the serve for Wisconsin. And a bad pass tight to the net is tucked away by Wisconsin. Down 1 now in the first set.
A rare Taylor Anderson miss there. She squared up a little too aggressively. Sometimes when you aren't completely set with your feet, you need to just focus on finishing with your hands, and you can't try and do too much with your hips and your hands at the same time.
So Purdue ahead of Wisconsin in the RPI. This in spite of Wisconsin being 1 place ahead of Purdue in the AVCA coaches poll. Badgers, as we mentioned, perfect in the month of November. Purdue lost its last match, a 5-set thriller to Oregon. And Dave Shondell, as competitive of a coach as it gets, but even he admitted that it was great volleyball in that match against Oregon, and it really could have gone either way.
It was great volleyball. I mean, it's 2 strong teams, 2 really good coaches that I would say both of those coaches, Oregon's coach and Purdue's coach, are both vying for Big Ten Coach of the Year here.
Got a great case there. After the Mimi Collier attack error, Purdue up 2 on the slide. Carter Booth blocked but out of bounds, and a point for Wisconsin.
That's a good route by Carter Booth right there, and to get out of the way in time is even tougher to do than make that swing happen. When she had to move those feet, that ball bounced right between her legs and went out of bounds.
Booth, the senior, has been brilliant in November, hitting .455 or higher in all 5 of Wisconsin's November matches. Here's Furbringer with the pass to Collier, the reigning Big Ten Player of the Week. And Collier with her 3rd kill of the night.
That kill by Mimi Collier was made possible by the crazy block touch from Grace Egan. She was one-on-one on that outside hitter, Kenna Wallard, and she made a huge diving save, which provided an easy ball for the backcourt on Wisconsin to take care of it, and Mimi Collier to do what she does best, going high hands.
There's an ace serve for Charlie Furbringer, serving short on Purdue, and Wisconsin grabs the lead.
This is a little bit of Purdue's game against themselves. Purdue loves to serve short. That's something that they've always been known for. Dave Shondell loves to serve the ball short, and here's the Badgers using that against them.
A taste of their own medicine, and another short serve for Furbringer. Lindsay Miller tools the block there for Purdue, one of Purdue's talented middles.
Yeah, Lindsay Miller able to go on the slide and do something really good there. Tooling off the edge of the block, creating a good opportunity for her team.
Well, Mimi Collier, if you look at her August and September numbers, those are probably good enough for All-American consideration. However, she has gotten better in kills per set and hit percentage as the season has worn on, as Wisconsin has gotten into the teeth of Big Ten play. It's hard to point to a player nationally who is playing better than Mimi Collier is right now.
This just makes me excited to see what she can do in December. If each month by month has gotten better and better, I mean, she's on a steady climb, and this is exactly when you want to be peaking. We were talking about it earlier. Both outside hitters are going in the right direction and peaking at the right time.
Egan on the left side puts it away. Grace Egan off to a great start tonight.
Grace Egan is so hard to defend. She comes into this facing pretty angle, and then last second turns her arm and her body down that line and flattens that ball out swinging deep. That's very difficult to defend.
Collier with the serve for Wisconsin. She serves Wohlert, her counterpart, in consideration for Player of the Year. Grace Heaney having every bit, I think, as big of a breakout season as Wohlert is, puts that one away for Purdue.
Yeah, Grace Heaney's a little bit quiet. Coach Shondell talks about how sometimes he feels like she's hitting these crazy numbers, and he's like, oh, wait, she actually is. She's hitting right up there with the rest of them, because sometimes, yeah, she's just that, a silent killer back there.
Anderson with the short serve for Purdue. Egan on the right side gets stuffed by Wohlert and Dior Charles.
That's one of the things about that short serve. Purdue's trying to create an opportunity that they want. That pass might have been very easy to make, but the opportunity that they wanted for their block was created. They were able to set up a really solid block over there on that right side attacker.
Over to Vajagic for Wisconsin. McAleer, the overpass dig. Furbringer sets the middle. And Carter Booth with the kill.
When Carter Booth keeps her arm high and attacks high over top of the block, she's so strong. When that ball comes a little bit lower to her and she gets really tight inside her ear, that's when she gets blocked a lot. But that was a good extension from Charlie Furbringer, letting Carter Booth go and reach at the highest point of her contact.
Talking with Badgers assistant coach John Shondell back at the bench. Of course, John Shondell is Purdue head coach, is Dave Shondell's younger brother, that is, and for 19 seasons was an assistant under his older brother in West Lafayette. Coming up to Madison, this is his first season as an assistant coach on Wisconsin staff. And you made the funny comment, Mac, before we went on, that both Kelly Sheffield and Dave Shondell with ties to Muncie, Indiana, and Ball State University. So it's kind of like a Muncie North showdown here in Madison.
Oh yeah, I gotta give Twitter credit for that one. I saw that one and I was like, that is quite possibly exactly what this is. All roads lead back to Muncie volleyball with these people here.
Of course, Ball State, one of the first programs in the country to have varsity volleyball as a sport, coached by the legendary Don Shondell, the Hall of Fame coach, who's the father of both Dave and John. And Kelly Sheffield came up as a coach or in that Muncie pipeline. Here's Akasha Anderson off the block, Simon the dig. Vajagic the swing, off some high hands and down on Purdue's side of the net. Point Wisconsin, they lead again here in the first.
I love the way that Wisconsin is using Purdue's own game against them, serving short and creating the opportunities that Wisconsin's block wants to see. I mean, that was a fabulous touch on the block. I would love to see Dior Charles turn and play that ball nice and high on her own.
Anderson winds up and wallops that one off the block. Point Purdue.
The thing about Purdue's offense is that they mix up their depths of their shots. So that ball right there, the Wisconsin defense was playing far too shallow to be able to go run that ball down. They got a fabulous touch on that ball, but if Mimi Collar was a little bit deeper in middle back, she would have been able to make an easy play with her hands on that ball.
That's another serve from Sienna Foster that's a little too long, and Wisconsin takes a 1-point lead into the...
It's fun to have a top-ranked opponent this late in the season. It can help with some of those postseason pushes that you're trying to make.
Kelly Sheffield really laid that bare in his media comments this week, as that's a point for Wisconsin. With 2 weeks left in the regular season, of course, you're only guaranteed one postseason match. There are only like 8 or 9 practices left going into this week. I mean, we are winding down here. Vajagic the serve with Wisconsin up 2. Heaney drills it. Point Purdue to stop what could have been a mini run for Wisconsin.
The Purdue right side attack is run pretty fast. There's quite a bit of tempo there, especially in system. Across the court, that's a great set from Taylor Anderson. Pushed forward and keeping that tempo in system right there.
That's now 3 service errors for Purdue.
That looks like some bad hand contact from Grace Heaney. She needs to keep that ball a little bit more in front of her and watch her hand make contact with the ball, because right now it's looking like it's hitting her wrist, not where she wants to be hitting it.
4th service error of the set for Purdue to Wisconsin's none. Badgers have the only ace, courtesy of Charlie Furbringer. Natalie Wardlow, there we go, there's a service error for Wisconsin. Is a very good server. That one was just a little bit long.
Yeah, I'd like to see Natalie Wardlow almost take a step back. She was so close to that end line right there, and that ball barely missed out of bounds long. I would be interested to see if she took one more step back, because there's plenty of room in the field house to play deeper. See what happens.
Julia Kane into serve. Dave Shondell really praised the way Kane's turned her career around at Purdue. Now a junior defensive specialist, having a great season along with Ryan McAleer in the Purdue defensive corps. Kane got to that ball by Carter Booth, but couldn't square it up. Point Wisconsin.
That's what's hard to defend about Carter Booth. She's over top of a lot of blockers and can reach high and just snap on top of that ball. You can see her hold that follow through, almost like a free throw shooter right there, holding that follow through, just reaching towards that back corner.
Well, Booth has basketball in the family. Her dad Calvin played at Penn State and in the NBA. That ball was smoked by Kenna Wohlert.
That's what's so difficult about Kenna Wohlert right there. That's the exact point. But look how high way Carter Booth's hands are. When she just puts her hands up standing there, her hands are already above the net. There have been times where I've seen Carter Booth not even jump to attack a ball just because it comes right over and she's already there.
6-7, she jumps there, and Booth is heating up in the first set. That's her 4th kill.
Middle production is key. It doesn't matter what team you're on. If you can get your middles going, that creates another level to your offense that's so difficult to stop. If you're pin heavy, the team on the other side can know to stop your pin, but it's hard to stop pins and middles.
So Booth with 5 kills and no errors. Hitting 1,000 here as we work our way into the later stages of the first set. Purdue right on Wisconsin Seals, however, 19-18. Wohlert also does not have an error in the first set. Here's Grace Egan. Point Wisconsin.
I like how Furbringer's mixing.
Basketball season is in full swing, both professionally and collegiately. With Mac Pedraza, Chris Foster's on hand for an outstanding late season volleyball showdown from the Fieldhouse in Madison. Wisconsin serving up 20-18. Heaney the swing, dug by Furbringer. It's an overpass, and Wohlert cleans it up. Boilers down 1.
Kenna Wohlert was all over that one. Dior Charles was ready to go with it too, but she kind of elbowed her out of the way, boxed her out. I'm using all the hoops references here today. Kind of boxed her out there and was ready for it.
I'm impressed, Mac.
I used to ball back in the day.
You weren't a point guard, were you?
Oh, no.
I just asked because you were a setter in volleyball. I mean, that's kind of the point guard position of the sport as Andrew puts it away for Wisconsin.
Remember, I'm a tall setter.
Yes.
Not a short setter.
Okay. Grace Egan serves a little bit long.
Early in the season, Grace Egan had a top spin serve. She would jump top spin, and now after taking some time off due to an injury, she's come back with a float serve, but is still serving generally pretty well. That was a rare miss from her. Coach Sheffield's been pretty happy with her serve so far this season.
Foster serves this one in. Good pass by Egan over to Vajagic. Great dig by Foster, and Egan hits it out of bounds. Point Purdue.
Almost a bump kill right there. That's a big kind of momentum play. When you get a kill almost off of your platform, that can create a ton of momentum for a team. So Wisconsin calling a timeout here makes sense because it caused quite a bit of chaos. A lot of momentum over there on that side of the court. Good time to try. We did play really well together.
Got to be on the short list, if not the front runner for Big Ten Coach of the Year. Collier, a drive, kept alive by Purdue. Wohlert sweeps it over. Vajagic. What a dig by Foster. The crowd thought it was a point. Here's Collier from the back row. Foster keeps it up. Anderson, dug by Vajagic. Point Wisconsin. Una gets another crack at it.
Good on Vajagic finding a way to end that play. The Badger fans, I think, were thinking this one was down, but that's very clearly a foot dig right there. That's impressive. I mean, her platform wasn't where it needed to be, but sometimes you don't need a platform. You can use your foot to get it up. All is legal.
A foot dig. That was something else.
We got hoops, add some soccer in the mix, maybe.
Right. You got to be a multi-sport athlete to play volleyball. Here's Collier. That's long. She thought there was a touch. Point Wisconsin. She gets the call. 33 herself. And Purdue hitting a blistering 481, but down 2. And what a play by Egan. Furbringer, the free ball. And a touch. Point Purdue. They get it eventually and cut the lead to 1.
That's that mixing up of depths. You can see on that first dig, Kasha Anderson is hitting that ball really hard, but it's in the defense's lap. And even though Wisconsin's able to chase that down, Kasha Anderson there just reaches a little bit higher and finishes higher, deeper into that corner.
Collier swings long and no touch. Point Purdue.
I I would have loved to see Mimi Collier go through with that set. Charlie Furbringer left her inside a little bit, you can see, and then she turns that ball down the line. I don't know if she got a touch, maybe. Doesn't look like we're gonna have a challenge. I would have loved to see her go hard cross court with that ball.
Tied at 23. Mimi swings, got a touch there, but Purdue keeps it alive. Anderson a runner. It's Collier. Popped up by Woolard. Anderson throws it to Anderson's way. Taylor to Akasha. Andrew down the line. Point Wisconsin.
That's a really smart set from Charlie Furbringer right there. Creating different situations with her offense. She'd run a ton of outside pin, and then to mix in that slide right there at that moment while there's chaos happening could not have been a better decision from Furbringer.
Set point, Wisconsin. Natalie Wardlow, the true freshman, with the serve. Wow, Purdue avoids the ace. And Carter Booth swings long. Purdue, like a cat with 9 lives, extends the set.
And that is Purdue to a T. I mean, a cat with 9 lives is exactly how I would explain the scrappiness of Dave Shondel's team. They do not give up. They keep going no matter what.
I mean, again, the crowd was getting ready to ramp up an ace serve to win the set. Now we're tied at 24. Collier swings. Rainbows down to Kane. Taylor Anderson for Kenna Woolard. Blocked. And that's down for a Wisconsin point.
That's Carter Booth at full extension right there. I would not want to tip into that. That's the thing about Carter Booth. If you are tipping into her block, you've got to go up and over because she's so high up there. But the thing about going up and over is that creates so much more time and gives your defense time to pick it up behind you.
Her shoulders were at the net, the top of the net. That was incredible. Woolard, another block, and Wisconsin's defense takes them to a set 1 win.
Purdue got really outside heavy at the end of that set there. Tons of outside. Wisconsin team, they've got such strong pins, but if they can get Carter Booth and any of their middles really involved, it's going to take them to a whole nother level, and they're proving that.
Mimi Collier with the serve to get us going in set number 2. Purdue did a good job on Collier in the first set. They forced 3 attack errors out of her. But the Badgers otherwise hit 286 in the first set. And contact with the antenna. And a point for Wisconsin to open set number 2, beg your pardon.
I like that set choice right there from Taylor Anderson to kick that ball back to Grace Heaney. She just tried to go a little bit too hard down that line. She doesn't need to go that far down the line.
Here's Collier again. A good server, as you might expect, along with everything else she does well. 18 aces on the season. And Carter Booth with another big-time block.
Man, Carter Booth pressed over is not something that I would want to see. Out of system right there, you've really got to stress going high hands and flattening that ball out because Booth is a big block.
Third of the Big Ten in blocks per set. She's closing in on 600 career blocks. Over 575 now. She swings there, dug by Taylor Anderson. Grace Heaney, a tapper, pushed over by Taylor Anderson. Back roll, Collier out. Point Purdue.
I like that swing from Mimi Collier out of the back row there, flattening that ball out a little bit. I don't think the block was in her face the way that she wanted it to be. It's the right idea, but she's got to find hands first if she's going to make a swing like that.
Kenna Woolard, the breakout junior. Over to Vajagic, and Una Vajagic, another player who is playing her best volleyball of the season right now. Certainly along with Mimi Collier, who's in the hunt for the Big Ten kills per set crown, along with Kenna Woolard, who's right there at over 4.5. Mimi up closer to 5.5. All tracking down Penn State's Kennedy Martin. Charles with the swing in the middle, but out of bounds. Point Wisconsin.
I love that choice, and I love that set from Taylor Anderson there. Dior Charles was up and open and prepared for that ball. She just let it get a little bit too far on her left shoulder rather than cutting that ball off when it was still on her right.
Remember, Purdue got off to a good start in the first set. Wisconsin with the hot start in the second set, and another antenna violation there. And Dave Shondell disagrees. I think he thought that was the block over the net.
I actually think what happened was Grace Egan's finger touched the antenna here. You can see her go up, really aggressive. She's outside of it, but her outside hand grabs that antenna. The ball really wasn't even that close to it.
That's a great point. And plain as day.
I will be interested to see if this is a challengeable offense.
I'm not sure if it is.
I think you can probably say in-out call, challenge in-out, because the call was that the ball was out of bounds.
The officials are having a conference right now.
I would have to guess the officials are talking about whether or not that antenna call from down the line was actually about seeing the ball hit the antenna or if it was seeing the finger hit the antenna. And I think the up official discussed it with the line judge, and they came to the conclusion that what the line judge did say that he saw was a finger, not the ball touching the antenna.
Al Cleary and James Cusiella are our referees. Peter Thomas and Scott Prox are the line judges.
That was nicely done by the officials, chatting it all out, coming to the conclusion and making the right call.
So 4-2 Wisconsin. Purdue serves here in the second set. Vajagic finds hands again.
Vajagic kind of leaped into that ball a little bit. The ball was inside and her feet weren't exactly there, but she realized that. She knew she couldn't swing hard into that low seam, so she just flattened it out and found the inside hand right there and tooled right off.
Vajagic has been brilliant in November. Her attack percentage on the season has gone up by 33 points. Akasha Anderson with the kill there. And this is, keep an eye on James Cusiella with the good hands. And just the casual toss of the ball back to Wisconsin's side.
He's done that before.
Yeah, it looked like it. Vajagic. And it comes off the video board on the dig by Ryan McAleer. It's on Purdue's side, so point Wisconsin.
That would have been a pretty nails dig right there if it had stayed right up, ricocheting right back down. If that ball stayed on the Purdue side, which it did, that would have been playable. They had 2 more contacts after that.
Ace serve Vajagic. Her 17th of the season.
That's a fantastic serve from Vajagic, flattening that ball out and driving it to the deep end line. That ball might have been out of bounds, but Kenna Waller thought it was in and played it.
Vajagic serves short. McAleer the pass. Here's Anderson. Tries to tool the block and does not. Point Wisconsin.
That's what we call a yo-yo serve right there. Drive one deep. But that's an interesting statistic, to be unbeaten on the road. It's usually the other way around. So props to Purdue for being a road team.
Taylor Anderson. That's exactly what Purdue wants to see out of their setter. A little more offense from her.
Yep, and that'll work right there. Absolutely slamming that ball straight down. Taylor Anderson keeping herself involved in this offense is going to add something to Purdue's offense that they really need. Anderson's put up some monster numbers this season. 1,065 assists coming in. And we just had a foot fault on Purdue server Julia Kane. You see about, well, I can't say one of those per season because I know I've seen one this season, so 2 per season. Doesn't happen very often. I was going to say, I think I was with you on that game.
Yeah.
And we saw one that time too. But yeah, that was a clear foot fault, and yeah, that does not happen very often.
Wardlow keeps her toes behind the line. McAleer the pass. Anderson throws it to Woolard. And that never went over to Wisconsin's side, so too many touches on Purdue.
even if it did go over right there, that would not have been the tip I want to make. I'm not going to try and power tip on Carter Booth right there.
I would hit it wherever Carter Booth is not at this point.
That's a great idea.
Ace serve, Wardlow. I think that one may have been going out of bounds too, but it was touched by Woolard.
I think that was definitely going out of bounds, and you could hear the team behind her telling her that that ball was out, and she just didn't listen. I mean, you got to trust your teammates sometimes.
Well, Purdue had 2 hitting errors in the entire first set. They've got 7 hitting errors in the second set and have been aced up a couple of times by the Badgers, who are on a roll right now. And Purdue just a little bit discombobulated. Wisconsin goes up 12-4.
Yeah, there's a lot going on the Purdue side right now. Simple fix would just to be talking about first contact. Take care of the first ball, move on to the next contact as you go. Up the communication level as much as possible.
They've already burned one of their 2 timeouts in the set. McAleer lays out for it. Lindsey Miller on the slide, and everything's coming up Cardinal red and white.
It's a fabulous block from Mimi Collier right there, pressing her hands over in the right place. Slide blocking is very difficult. You've got to track the ball, but then last second get your eyes on that attacker. You can see her right there. You can track her eyes the whole way. She gets them right on her attacker and just presses right back in towards the middle of the court.
That's a BS for Mimi Collier, block solo. Natalie Moravec is on the floor for Purdue, and just what Dave Shondell ordered, a bit of a spark off the bench for Moravec.
That's one of the things about Coach Shondell. He's not afraid to throw people in and out as needed. If he sees a player that needs a little help, needs a second, like Kenna Woolard might need right now on the bench, he's not afraid to throw somebody in. He has trust in his bench.
McAleer with the lollipop serve. Booth on the slide. Swung over by McAleer. Incredible play. Booth doesn't care, right back to work. And the net violation picks up the point for Wisconsin.
Just silly, nitpicky errors for the Boilermakers right now. They really need to clean up their overall game. Quit making some of these silly errors that they're really regretting.
There's the errors by set for Purdue, already higher than their first set total. Furbringer takes the pass for Collier. Heaney with another pass. Moravec puts it away. Moravec with her 2nd kill off the bench. This is a player, Mac, who only had 30 kills all into this match, but is giving Purdue something here offensively.
Yeah, I got to give my props to Taylor Anderson on that one, because she did throw one ball down earlier. The Wisconsin block is having to jump with her, and that opened up a huge seam for Moravec right there.
Anderson serves short. Furbringer over to Egan. That ball was blistered.
Talk about a huge seam right there. I mean, from across the court, pushing that ball outside to Egan with a good amount of tempo right there. He drilled that ball down the line.
You know, since Egan has returned to the lineup following her knee injury, her dig numbers have been every bit as impressive as her kill numbers, but you know, it seems like she's really getting her offensive stride back here. Heaney, what a one-arm dig by Simon. Vajagic out, point Purdue.
I mean, the defensive effort over there from Wisconsin. Kristen Simon making a play at a ball that really she should have no business making a play at. That's a hard-driven ball from Grace Heaney, and Kristen Simon robbed that kill from her.
Kristen Simon leading the Badgers in digs per set. Now Moravec serves for Purdue. She was on her way to Dave Shondell's bench. She thought her rotation was over, but she stays in to serve. That was a good decision. She's going to serve again after the error by Wisconsin. Purdue trying to claw their way back into this second set. Vajagic into the net. And Purdue now down 6.
Very solid serve from Moravec right there, driving that ball deep and creating an out-of-system opportunity. The Purdue Boilermakers
in that 2019 season, they went all the way to the national championship game, so maybe the Badgers are gearing up for another deep December run. Side out, Wisconsin on the service error by Moravec, and Kristen Simon back to serve. How do you feel about the way Wisconsin is playing at this point in the season?
They're so consistent, and they're not making those silly errors like Purdue is right now. They're being very clean and keeping their game very consistent, and that's what you need to do at this point in the season.
Wow, now that's the third time that's happened. An ace serve for Wisconsin that has simply struck a Purdue player because she couldn't get out of the way.
I will say it's difficult to play in the field house. There's a lot of depth perception issues. It's hard to see what's going on behind you, especially in a whiteout right now. It's difficult to see, but not this many errors should be made.
Oh, Simon almost went careening into the front row to try and save that. It's a point for Purdue. Some of the resume standouts for Wisconsin. They beat Kansas in the first weekend of the season. They also beat arch rival Minnesota, who they will play again, and they dominated Indiana earlier this month. That was really when this streak started for Wisconsin of playing A1 volleyball, sweeping a ranked Hoosiers team here at the Fieldhouse. That is a net violation and a point for Wisconsin.
That should have been a simple point right there for Purdue, and unable to make anything happen because they're a little too tight to the net right there.
So, Mac, we've been talking about, Carter Booth, Mimi Collier, Una Vajagic all having these great months, and Charlie Furbringer is really the straw that stirs that drink. Since getting her back in the lineup, Wisconsin's offense has gone from really good to truly elite. And another point for Wisconsin, Furbringer helping out on the block.
Furbringer doing exactly what caused her issue in the first place a couple weeks back. So that's ballsy of her, and it's good to see her going and doing what she knows she can do, but might be a little going on in her head because she's been in those moments before.
Just a sophomore as well. The face of this program for years to come now. And Vajagic, that's out, but not by much, but a point for Wisconsin. That was another silly mistake for Purdue.
Another net fault. Looks like it was the middle blocker on that one there. I think that's definitely going to be another opportunity for Dave Shondell to make another sub here.
And he subs his middles out. Lindsay Miller takes a seat, and Bianca Lulic, the redshirt sophomore transfer from Miami, her first action of the match. Lulic gets the set and puts it home for the kill.
Lulic is not a stranger to this court. She's seen quite a bit of playing time this season. Purdue's had some issues with their middles being healthy this year, but all three of them are healthy right now, and all three of them are able to play, and Shondell's ready to use any of them at any moment.
This is Lulic's 17th match played of the season. Anderson. Furbringer for Vajagic. Off the block and down in bounds, and Lulic helping out defensively for Purdue.
Lulic and Taylor Anderson right there pressed over on the block. Taylor Anderson's blocking is not something I would say is her strongest suit, but it's definitely something I can see her working on and trying to get better at game by game. I mean, she proved it right there. She's getting better at it. Great
Short serve by Grace Heaney. No answer for Mimi Collier out of the back row. Planted for a Wisconsin point, 21-12.
You just simply can't let Mimi Collier plow through the back row like that with no block in front of her. I would not want to play backcourt defense against Mimi Collier with no block.
Vajagic serves too short there. It has been a quiet night by Collier's standards, against 7.5 kills per set in Wisconsin's 2 matches last week as she won Big Ten Player of the Week. Collier with just 5 kills, 4 errors tonight, so Purdue's done a good job, but you have to account for her no matter what rotation Wisconsin is in because of how lethal she is out of the back row. Andrew lethal there, a kill for Wisconsin.
But that's a huge key right there. A lot of attackers, you can get away with waiting until they get to the back row and you're like, okay, take that deep breath. We can go as much as we can offensively and keep that attacker in the back row for as long as we can. But Mimi Collier is one of those players that is just as strong from the front row as she is in the back row. You really don't get a break from Mimi defensively.
Lulich. Point Purdue.
Lulich has a really long arm swing that isn't quite as fast as the other middles for Purdue, so it might take a little bit of an adjustment for the Wisconsin block to be able to get a good read on her slide.
She is 6'5", and a great trip through the front row for Lulich, but Purdue down 8 late in the second. Great serve, McAleer, passed well by Egan. Collier swings, and a Wisconsin point.
That was a fantastic touch on the block right there. Slowed that ball down, exactly what Purdue would want to see. Ryan McAleer going to her knees before she sees where that ball is going to go. You got to stay on your feet and be ready to run that ball down wherever it's at.
Furbringer in to serve, and Una Vajagic heads to the Wisconsin bench for Anaya Warren, defensive specialist. Dior Charles, great dig by Simon. Collier off the block, point Wisconsin.
It's a good swing from Mimi Collier, flattening that ball out, using the Purdue block to her advantage. Purdue's block is looking a little bit lackadaisical, a little bit behind them, not quite as pressed over and as strong as it should be, and Mimi Collier can see that. She's going to expose it.
Set point Wisconsin. They have dominated the second set after a neck-and-neck first. Furbringer digs her counterpart, Taylor Anderson. Roll shot, Collier. Moravec pops it up. Heaney. What a save by Simon, but out of bounds. Point for Grace Heaney and Purdue.
Grace Heaney on that last attack, taking off from about a foot behind the 10-foot line. She can get as close to that 10-foot line as she wants without jumping over it while she's in the back row. She can land as far in front of it as she wants to, but taking off, she's got to be behind that line. I'd like to see her work to get a little bit closer to that line, not so far back.
Another short serve for Taylor Anderson. Egan drives home the point in more ways than one. Badgers take the second set convincingly, 25-15.
Purdue's definitely going to talk about how
we're capable of, and getting a handful against Wisconsin on the road, but this has been a team that has really played well all season long and is trying to carry it into December. Julia Kane, the DS out of the back row with a good-looking swing, and Purdue wins the point.
That's the thing about having a DS like Julia Kane in the back row. Even though she is a DS, she's a true DS back there. She stands at 6 feet tall, so she's not afraid to go put her hand on that ball and take a rip.
That rip leads to a Purdue point to open the third set. And now Kane out of Windermere, Florida, serves it up. Vajagic, that's down. She didn't hit that cleanly, but it leads to a Wisconsin point.
I don't know how Vajagic made that happen. That should not have gone the way that it did. That was a complete mishit that she mishit quite literally perfectly to land in that deep back corner.
A perfect mishit. It's like an oxymoron or something.
Yep.
Bianca Lulich, good placement there. Came into the game late in the second set and now has 3 kills for Purdue off the bench.
Yeah, her slide is difficult to defend because, like I said earlier, she's got a little bit of a different arm swing. It's a little bit slower, it's a little bit longer to get up at her highest contact point, so it's difficult for the Wisconsin block to figure it out right now.
Furbringer sets Andrew in the middle, turned away. This time it's Dior Charles, the middle blocker for Purdue, and some help from the setter, Taylor Anderson.
It looked like that went just barely out of bounds there. I like where her hands were. That was in the right spot, just faced out of bounds a little bit more. She needs to curve those hands in towards zone 6, the middle of the court.
Not sure if Andrew got the wind knocked out of her. She is telling Wisconsin staff that she is good. Kristen Walker, the athletic trainer, was making her way out onto the court, and Andrew turned her away. Egan serves, a good one. Purdue passes in system, however, and a point for Purdue off the touch.
Charlie Furbringer there trying to convince the whole arena that she didn't touch that ball. Walking away saying, no touch, no touch. I mean, you could tell that that ball changed direction a little bit, but she convinced me. I wasn't sure then.
You're pretty good with challenges, no challenges, so it must have been a compelling argument. Collier, a roller out of the back. McAleer with the pass to Heaney. Simon the bump set. Vajagic down in front of McAleer. Point Wisconsin.
When Vajagic gets her feet to the ball high and inside, she does it so well. It's hard to defend because she gets in there. She's past your block when she jumps and lands. You can see, actually, she doesn't even get her feet to that ball. She jumps and leaps past your block, making it so hard to tell where you need to set up.
Vajagic out of Serbia with the serve. And Woolard, a tool shot kill. Oh. Kelly Sheffield said Una Vajagic played her best volleyball of the season last weekend. But in particular, gravity worked enough to keep that ball in for Wisconsin. Vajagic tosses it over. Woolard dug by Egan. Furbringer dumps it over. It comes right back from Anderson. What a dig by Simon. And a net somewhere on Wisconsin. Point Purdue. Furbringer gets the net violation, and we might get another challenge here.
Furbringer calling her own number. I love it. Back court, Taylor Anderson's really ready for that ball, though.
Furbringer definitely touched the net. I think Wisconsin's issue, could it have been a back row attack? Well, I saw assistant coach Gary White saying they were in rotation 1. Either way, we're tied at 4, and number 4 for Purdue serving, Kenna Woolard with the service error.
Kenna Woolard hand contact right there, just a little bit off. That's sort of been a trend for her, attacking and serving right there. I'd like to see her worry about as much of the volleyball game as she can. Don't think so much about the technicalities of volleyball. Think more about the game as a big picture. When you're not playing your strongest, that's what you got to go with.
Wardlow mishits, and the teams exchange service errors to get us to 5-5.
Wardlow missing her serve behind the end line is a tough one for Wisconsin because she's generally a really strong server, keeps that ball in play, and causes the situation that Wisconsin wants to see out of system.
Collier to Egan. McAleer swings it to Heaney. Off the Wisconsin block, Furbringer underneath it. Collier. Knuckled by Taylor Anderson and out of play. Point Wisconsin.
That's a smart shot from Collier right there, taking a little bit off of it down the line, finding hands on it too. If she just goes a little bit off speed down the line right there, that's a pretty easy dig. But the fact that she finds hands first and goes down the line off speed makes it that much more difficult.
Collier and Woolard, the 2 National Player of the Year candidates, both hitting under 200 in this match. Furbringer with the service error there for Wisconsin, and that suddenly cropped up here in the 3rd set. Grace Heaney serves. Egan drives out. Point Purdue.
Grace Egan down the line. She loves that line shot on the outside. I would pay a little bit more attention to Grace Egan down the line and set up that block in that spot.
Egan, cross-court kill. Looked like that serve may have gone out, but Egan played the pass and gets a kill out of it.
Yeah, out of system situation, Egan is no stranger to the outside. She played outside her first year at Ohio State, so she's comfortable out there and she knows what to do even in an out of system situation like that where she's far outside the court and the set isn't perfect, still able to get a kill out of it.
On the slide, Lulich. Heaney with the dig. Akasha Anderson took something off it. Simon for Vajagic. Out of play, point Wisconsin. Now Ryan McAleer, the Purdue libero, couldn't keep that play alive, and Wisconsin assistant coach Brittany Dildon, I'm sure, is happy about that. She was a libero for Dave Shondell in West Lafayette right at the start of the Shondell era here at Purdue. And you take it for granted now how consistently good Purdue has become, but they were not a program that was in good shape when Dave Shondell came to West Lafayette, and the Brittany Dildon era teams really helped put the program on the map. They beat a lot of teams that they probably shouldn't have. Wohlert the pass. Anderson swings. Karams to Simon. Furbringer in the middle for Booth. Dug by Heaney. Off the block. And a point for Akasha Anderson.
Akasha Anderson taking care of that ball high and out of system. That's when you really can't go low and swing hard into the cross-court seam, because, yeah, Carter Booth is right there, and that's a scary sight to see. You got to flatten that ball out and find her fingertips.
But Purdue has loved the in-your-face attitude that Akasha Anderson has brought to the roster this season. Her first and only with Purdue. She's a senior, played last season at Michigan State. Vajagic swings. McAleer gets two hands on it. Wohlert off the block and out of bounds. Point Purdue.
Taylor Anderson called her own number in that rally. I would have loved to see her throw it down with one hand. She went over with two and tried to shove that ball cross-court deep. I'd like to see her throw it straight down a little bit further, but I liked how Kenna Wohlert was able to finish that play, flattening that ball out once again.
7 kills and 7 digs for Wohlert. Well, that took a couple of Karams off Grace Egan's arm. Slide, Lulich, that's in. Point Purdue.
Wisconsin was forced to send a free ball there because Grace Egan took that ball right up of her forehead for a second, but sending that free ball over puts Purdue in an in-system situation that they're able to run Lulich on the slide pretty clearly.
Furbringer sets Booth down for a Wisconsin point.
Carter Booth on that gap set right there is so strong. Charlie Furbringer's communication and connection with Booth on that little pushed gap set is really strong. She keeps her reaching really high. If she drops that ball in low, Charlie Furbringer drops that ball in low, Booth has no chance at it.
Furbringer has done a great job spreading the wealth around for Wisconsin in this match. Vajagic has got 9 kills. Now 3 Badgers with 8 kills. Allie Andrew with 5. Another point for Wisconsin there to reclaim the lead in the third set. Egan gets another one to give her 9 for the night. Service error. Kristen Simon didn't miss by much, and we're tied at 11.
Very close miss right there. That's what you want to see. Make the defense, the passing core have to think about that ball.
Still be thinking the next time she comes around to serve, you know?
Exactly.
Sienna Foster, local product from Lafayette, Indiana. And a point for Purdue. Furbringer was over the top.
Yeah, that pass just a little bit too tight right there. Charlie Furbringer's back row, and that's just about all she could have done with it.
Vajagic passes it over to Egan. Back to Vajagic. Out. Point Purdue. And the Boilermakers putting together a strong third set.
Interesting choice right there from Purdue to not jump on Una Vajagic, going really full force ahead and a high out of system on the net ball right there. They got lucky on that one, that's for sure.
Vajagic, roll shot dug by Heaney. Over to Wohlert, tip, dug by Furbringer. Vajagic through the block and down.
Vajagic found Taylor Anderson floating on her block right there. Taylor Anderson set her block in one spot and then drifted out towards this antenna pin. You can see her hands kind of drifting out as she goes rather than staying put right where her body is.
Vajagic, the first player on the floor to 10 kills tonight. She's hit that mark in 4 of her last 5. showing you a lot of different metrics for how well Vajagic is playing as of late. That's another.
This is the first swing from Grace Heaney out of the back row where she looks like she's in true rhythm and she can go attack this ball in front of the 10-foot line. I would love to see Purdue continue to use that.
7 kills for Heaney. Dunked down by Furbringer, and a point for Wisconsin. There was a touch.
Yeah, Charlie Furbringer was pretty adamant about that. She definitely got hands on that, throwing it off the hands and then out of bounds, not just straight out of bounds.
2 kills for Charlie. Vajagic the serve. Wohlert out of bounds, and Wisconsin has tied it up.
I would love to see Taylor Anderson run her middle on that ball. The middles have been pretty quiet, especially Dior Charles hasn't gotten a ton of balls. I'd love to see her in that tight situation, feed her middles.
Lulich has 4 kills in the middle for Purdue, but Charles does not have any. Charles pops it over there, however. On the slide, Andrew. Overpass dig by Taylor Anderson. Andrew again, and she puts it away.
I love
Plus, Wisconsin takes on Iowa on Sunday. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. That will be the final home match of the regular season for Wisconsin. They finished with 2 straight on the road, so it will be senior night for the Badgers. Furbringer sets Andrew, and a point awarded to Wisconsin. That net moving quite a bit. Violation on the Boilers.
just wait for the Boilermakers here today. I mean, it's something that you can be okay with here and there, maybe one a match. We have seen far too many from the Boilermakers this entire match. A key piece for them that I'd love to see them clean up.
Vajagic serves. Wohlert stuffed. Collier and Andrew. Doesn't matter what side Purdue tries to feed Wohlert. They were on the right side that time. Wisconsin was ready for her.
Kenna Waller's definitely comfortable over there, but Mimi Collier says absolutely not. No, 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 not today.
Remember, Wohlert started her career at Purdue on the right side. Left side is her natural position, but when Chloe Chicoine and Eva Hudson were on the roster, right side was really the only spot available for her. She has excelled at her natural position this season. Heaney swings long, and the Badgers are in danger of pulling away here in the... And thinking about how this Wisconsin team has evolved over the course of the season, Matt, we saw them opening weekend at the Kohl Center, and you said they got to use their middles a little bit more. They've got Mimi Collier in rhythm, and we have seen them use their middles more, especially as Charlie Furbringer has gotten her groove back, and it just makes this offense even more lethal.
Yeah, finding that rhythm with the middles is a huge key, and the fact that Charlie Furbringer was out for a little while but then comes back and probably set her middles a little bit too much for Coach Sheffield's liking early in that first match back, but has really figured out a rhythm with it, figured out how and when to set them, and it's serving them very well.
Andrew got another kill for Wisconsin on the last point, 7 straight for the Badgers. Simon, the free ball for Purdue. Crowd loves the effort. Wow, the one-arm dish from Taylor Anderson over to Lindsey Miller did not work. And Wisconsin giving Purdue a taste of a runaway train.
Wisconsin forced to send a free ball on this play. Purdue should have had an easy pass right here, putting Taylor Anderson in.
Vajagic to serve for Wisconsin, trying to close the door here. Andrew on the block, turns away Kenna Wohlert.
Those middles coming up defensively too. Pressing over right in the exact spot she needs to be in. Kenna Wohlert falling off of that swing a little bit, not taking care of it the way that she needs to.
Purdue led 13-11 in this set. It's now 21-15 after the service error by Vajagic.
Akasha Anderson has brought some fire for Purdue throughout this match. She just subbed into the game. I would love to see a little bit of that from her here moving forward.
Natalie Moravec with the serve. Andrew dug by Anderson. Andrew again. Badgers riding the hot hand. Purdue ready for it on this point. Mimi Collier, cross-court kill.
It's tough to play defense when we're talking about the hot hand is Anderson on the slide, when normally the hot hand is Mimi Collier on the outside. So when you've got to put so much respect on Anderson, who's going off tonight, when you've got to put so much respect on Andrews, who's going off tonight, it's tough because then you've got Mimi Collier on the other side.
Pick your poison.
It's hard to play defense against teams playing this well.
This is Natalie Wardlow. Anderson, that's cross court. And a dandy for Akasha Anderson, who's leading the Boilermakers with 9 kills on the evening.
It's a good deep swing from Cash Anderson, reaching up high and finding that edge of the court. Grace Egan was playing left back defense there and was really far underneath the block. I'd like to see her stay back a little bit deeper to be able to dig that ball.
Anderson with 9 kills, just 1 error. She's hitting .286. Over to Collier. Woolard and Purdue on the joust. Point Wisconsin. I think Purdue was out of chances there, and they were. This one slipping away from Purdue, but the resume certainly is not. Purdue stockpiled some really impressive wins in non-conference, and they have continued their run to a 13-3 start in conference play. You're going to see them in December, and they could still very well end up hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament, even with a loss tonight. That is out of bounds, and it is match point for the Badgers, and they stand inside the field house.
The Badgers are playing really disciplined and have a very even offense right now. It's an impressive volleyball match from the Badgers so far.
Anderson extends the match by a point. 10 kills for Anderson. 14th game with 10 kills.
Anderson's a really strong outside hitter that even at this moment in the game when her team's down, she's going to try and find ways to score.
Booth sends us home. A fitting way for Wisconsin to win the match using